I think events like this are very important. I think it's important to discuss the issues that we're going through to enable us to move forward. It's important to discuss it so that we're visible. LGBT community is not visible in the media at the moment, so events like this help to raise awareness. It's support as well. It's being around like-minded people that share the same struggle is empowering. I've learned that there's a lot of good work happening. A lot of work that I didn't know about, so I'm happy to have learned about. And change is happening. You might not realise it, but when you look back, say 5 years or even 10 years, and compare it to now, change is happening. So that's definitely one positive I'll take away.
I think a lot of people have been really scared of talking about LGBT issues, but I think football as a whole is starting to dispel that myth. Firstly, it's not complicated to do, and secondly, everyone's lots of people are doing it, so you can too. Well, we're doing lots of different things. We're making sure that we send out a very, very clear message of zero tolerance to all forms of discrimination. We have a big plan, a big 5-year plan that that we've implemented with all of the football authorities, which has LGBT issues threaded throughout it. We're celebrating LGBT people in the pro game and in the grassroots game as well. So we're making sure everybody realises, whether they're LGBT or whether they play football with LGBT people or they have LGBT family and friends, that they are all welcome and they're all part of the football family.
We want to make change, so what's the point of doing any of this if you don't believe that change can happen? And of course you shouldn't just sort of be blind-faced optimism. Of course there is homophobia, there is sexism in football, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this in the first place. But to think actually there's something out there that we can affect that change, and while of course understanding what those barriers are and then working out how to break them down. And you can't just do it with one approach. I think that came out loud and clear tonight. You have to look from the football authorities, in the boardrooms, on the pitch, in the stands, in the classrooms, across the board. And it's great there are so many organisations out there in each of those areas. And then from a campaigning point of view, to bring it all together to say actually what we want is, we don't want discrimination in football around sexuality and gender identity.
The youth are the answer, I believe, because if we teach them how to respect each other, how to not be afraid of difference and change, then that is the answer, in the sense that when they then grow up and become in positions of responsibility and power, and that's, like you said, in the wider society, but in this context in football, the supporters, the players, the owners, they will then look at things differently. They will see people in an inclusive manner, and that will have the positive effect that we're all trying to get to.